Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. I'm Mark Martin. First, we'll introduce you to a Navy veteran, Bruce Impal, who served on a destroyer in Vietnam. The violence and combat left him with PTSD, but during his treatment, he found a passion for woodworking, and he began making toys in his garage. The craft helped to calm him down, and today he gives his toys away to veterans' families.
I'm in my own world. I don't feel any pressure. Sometimes I'm out here 12 hours a day. With all the ruckus around me, I can come out here and just be myself. No stress. I was a high school student, enjoying life. Then after that, I went into the military, and I chose to go into the Navy.
Bruce Impal joined the Navy at 17 and was assigned to the USS Feckler. Soon after checking on board, the destroyer was sent to conduct operations off the coast of Vietnam.
Our captain was gung-ho, and we went into the river area. I remember standing on the fantail, looking out and going, this is the big time.
The crew fired shells and traded small arms fire with the enemy for weeks on end while providing fire support to troops on the ground.
It was a challenge, knowing that you could be killed, but I got grown up.
With a close view of the action, Bruce saw things most young men never have to see.
I went for a interview with the disability compensation, and I was 10% disabled, but I didn't want to have it, so I walked away.
Upon returning home, he and his shipmates received a less than warm welcome from a war-weary public.
We were spitted on, we were finger pointed.
That's when the nightmares began.
My wife, at that time, we didn't know what PTSD was. I just had the attitude that I would rip somebody's head off if they got in my way. I found myself shying away from people, crowds, not going to movies. Would go to a restaurant, I would make sure that I was backed up to a wall so I wouldn't have people around me.
After a violent outburst, Bruce knew it was time to face his problems and seek help.
I went to the VA, got adjusted, and found a doctor that would help me.
Bruce's doctors recommended he find an outlet to help him cope with his PTSD. That's when he decided to pick up an old hobby from before the war.
Got involved with the wood, and it took some of the pressure away of everyday living. I would have something exciting to build. So I started making toys, and it's my passion now.
As for his toys, Bruce found a way to use his newfound passion to give back to other veterans and active duty service members and their families.
I will take some of my toys and I'll go down to the VA hospital and I'll see a sailor or anybody, and I'll just say, here, have one. It's all yours. It's a feeling of accomplishment because I know it's going to a good family. And you know, the military, we all band together. And if I can get them out there and save a couple of bucks for an officer or an enlisted man, then so be it. The fulfillment is seeing a child have one of my toys.
When asked what advice he had for other veterans struggling with PTSD, he was blunt.
You can't do it yourself. There are doctors at the VA that are very good. The more you talk, the better it is. Do not hold it in, because the only one you're going to destroy is yourself.
Post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury take more veterans' lives than combat. That's according to the organization Collateral Project, a nonprofit hoping to prevent veterans from committing suicide by providing treatment free of charge.
Now we're getting into the personality assessments, the MMPI.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Timothy Barclay is a busy guy. In addition to teaching psychology to the next generation at Liberty University, Barclay also helps patients at a private practice.
In the areas of the brain that are underfunctioning, we would seek to increase that activity.
Prior to this life, Barclay was all about the military and law enforcement. He served in the Army and then 20 years as a police officer. In all walks, he seeks to save, and now that passion is rescuing veterans on the verge of ending it all.
And it was actually through my years on the police department that I was exposed to, mental health and mental illness, dealing with people in crisis all the time, that I really became interested in the work of psychology.
Estimates indicate a military veteran commits suicide each hour of each day. Barclay says treating veterans has been frustrating because many take 10 or more psychiatric medications.
You're not really treating the core issue, because what you're looking at is all the synergistic side effects of the combination of medications, and it made treatment very difficult.
Plus, he says the treatment needed to get to the core of complex trauma is rarely covered by insurance, and Barclay believes that adds up to a broken system.
So it was last year just really thinking about this in earnest, and how can I circumvent this? What can I do to really treat the population that I'm truly passionate about, but without giving these services away and going bankrupt in the process? It was like a light bulb that went off. Well, the only way to really do that effectively is through a nonprofit organization, and to raise funds and to do what we do here in private practice, but to offer that to veterans.
That idea led to the Collateral Project, or CDP, to help vets battling post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, and depression.
And the current state of affairs of how we see all these veterans suffering and committing suicide, they're basically collateral damage to our current system.
The main goal of Collateral Project is restoring what war has taken. And those associated with the organization say they recognize that veterans were willing to give their lives for us and our country, that the least they can do is offer them the best kind of care at no cost.
So anybody who has a passion and a heart for vets, understanding the current crisis, that we're literally losing 20 vets a day to suicide because they don't have access to proper care, that's a figure that's dumbfounding, and we ought to be alarmed by that. So people who are compelled by that needs to give to this organization.
As funds come in, CDP will offer veterans an intense 4-week program, including brain mapping, trauma-focused psychotherapy, and non-invasive brain stimulation techniques.
So the red color that we're seeing here on the sides of the brain basically are telling you that this person has an overactive mind, maybe an aggressive disorder of some sort?
Well, they would have some emotional dysregulation, some aggressive type tendencies.
The program will also offer a year of follow-up care for free. Therapist and retired Army chaplain Dr. David Mickelson works with Barclay.
CDP is going to be a great program. I think the genius of that is bringing together multiple methods of treating trauma, doing it in a very intense format, which is great for military folks. I mean, they're used to an intense environment, and they'll do well in that environment. And then bringing it all under the gospel of Jesus Christ and recognizing that spiritual renewal and redemption is part of every warrior's story. It's going to be great.
Currently, Dr. Barclay is treating veterans here in the Lynchburg, Virginia area as they trickle into his local treatment center. But his goal is to expand it to a large-scale center, treating the most severe cases of PTSD and TBI for veterans across the country. One of those patients is retired Marine Isaac Coley.
I could sit here and tell you, the normal symptoms of nightmares, sleepwalking. My wife actually had to sleep with a pillow in between us because of how violent I would get in my sleep. So I had the VA that would pop me full of pills and medications, and I had the support groups. And I couldn't find what I needed.
Coley says the treatments and spiritual aspect made a huge difference, including saving his marriage. On top of that, his medications went from as many as 10 to just 1. Would you say you're a walking miracle?
I don't know. I don't know if I would say that, because that seems to give me a little bit too much credit. I think that when you first said that, what came to mind was all of the miracles that have happened in my life to bring me to where I am by the glory of God and by His divine leading through people like Tim Barclay and the CDP program.
Coley now wants to spread the word about Collateral Damage Project to fellow veterans.
A couple nights ago, a friend of mine called me. He was going to take his life. And I told him, I said, no. I said, we veterans need to be the example of what a man can endure and overcome.
Mark Martin, CBN News, Lynchburg, Virginia. Coming up, how CBN is stepping in to help a military family in need.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug of war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
What starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back to On the Home Front. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to providing financial support to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans. Peter and Sandra were not looking forward to a Merry Christmas. Instead, they were dreading a homeless holiday. But then this military family received some much-needed help just in the nick of time.
Spending the holidays together is something military families never take lightly. Peter Van Veltzer spent 9 years in the Army as a Black Hawk helicopter mechanic and one time deployed for a year.
I've always felt responsible for the crew members on the aircraft. There's 2 pilots and a crew chief, and if anything should go wrong in the air, that's on me. So we make sure these aircraft are good to go.
His wife Sandra is extremely proud of Peter's service.
He had that bravery. He just knows that this is something that he was called to do.
Peter decided to get out of the Army and use his GI Bill to go to college. But they learned it would take longer than expected for his school benefits to kick in, which meant no income for 3 months. At the same time, their van needed tires and the transmission needed repair. And Christmas was just weeks away. Their time in military housing was coming to an end. They needed to move but didn't have rent money. Instead of preparing for the holidays, the couple started contacting homeless shelters. The fights began.
Panicking and frantic, and I'm thinking, how we're going to support this family, what's going to happen.
With money matters out of her control, Sandra decided to work on something she could control, strengthening her relationship with God. She started attending Bethel Community Church near Fort Campbell. She joined a women's Bible study and read the Word every day. She discovered a feeling of peace she didn't think was possible.
It really has proven that the more I decided to stick with God, the more that He wants so much for me, how much He loves me, how much He loves our marriage.
When Peter noticed Sandra's change, he started attending a men's Bible study. It wasn't long before Peter's attitude changed too.
It was just like a feeling of joy, and everything's because I'm going to trust in Christ. Everything's going to be okay because of that.
Now the fight is for each other, to keep fighting for our future, for our family's future.
Bethel contacted Helping the Home Front and asked CBN to step in. Pastor Lance Phillips invited the couple to his home to share some big news.
CBN, in partnership with Bethel Community Church, is really stepping up to the plate. And we're going to give you the finances to be able to pay the first month's rent and the last month's rent. And also to be able to pay 2 more payments on top of that. How does that sound?
It's awesome.
And it gets better. We know you have a vehicle situation. CBN, in partnership with Bethel, is going to be able to step up and give you the finances to repair your vehicle.
Thank you, God.
It even gets better.
Oh, Lord, help me.
We know Christmas is coming. And when you go through financial difficulties, that can be one of the most hardest seasons to walk through. We're going to give you the finances to be able to provide a great Christmas for your children.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
This is how God gets us back on our feet and helps us move forward in the right direction. Amen?
Amen. Amen.
Their church is paying for rent on their new home while the family waits for Peter's school benefits to kick in. We also took them to Sears Automotive to replace the tires and get the transmission fixed. When Sears heard about Helping the Home Front, they kicked in a big discount. Then it was off to a shopping spree to buy Christmas presents for the kids, something Sandra admits would not have happened if not for Bethel's partnership with CBN. Peter and Sandra are now celebrating the Christmas season stress-free.
What you guys have done really fulfilled a lot of our dreams and goals. And I feel like we can now go forward and also give to others as well.
Up next, they go underwater months at a time defending our country from below. A look at what life is like aboard the Navy's submarines.
October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
And ministering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to cbnnewschannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Thanks for staying with us. The small, tight-knit group of sailors who make up the Navy's submarine force say what they do is anything but normal. Between secret missions and long separations from the outside world, the submarine community is largely a mystery. We've got a rare look at what that life looks like.
We definitely have our own language.
Have you heard of water slugs?
North Atlantic triangle fish, deep fried hamsters. One of my favorites will always be zarf. Oh, zarfs, yeah.
Poopy suit.
Poopy suits.
Life on a submarine is unique. You live inside a biodome that's built for sinking.
Subcom report.
County is 7 gain.
A normal day for us, so we'll get up and then take a shower, get ready, brush our teeth, shave.
Next.
Eat kind of normal stuff you would normally tend to see, but then we work on a rotating 8-hour shift. So we could be on days, you could be on nights, you could be on mids, and then you'll go on and stand your watch.
We make our own water, we make our own oxygen. How long we can operate is usually based on how much food we can carry.
The mission for these submarines is the strongest leg in the nuclear triad, deterrence. Strategic deterrence is the hugest thing we do. We're out here to make sure that nobody wants to pick on the U.S. You know everybody by their first name, you know everybody's background. It's a small, tight-knit family.
I've been lucky to have some great CEOs and be on some great boats and serve with some really awesome people.
There are things that I've done at sea or on a submarine that I'll never forget, and there are people that I've met that I'll never forget. And without submarines or the Navy, I would have never had the opportunity. Being able to have a job like this and being in a place that I am, it's a huge honor. I enjoy what I do, and serving our country is what's put me where I'm at, so I'm very proud of that.
Oh, of course, it's the best part of the Navy. There's a lot of communities that think they're the best, but they've never been on a submarine, so I think they've changed their mind.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Happily, Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Saturday night at 6 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
And before we go, an uplifting story. A handbag company is stepping in to help military spouses during their time of need. CBN's Talia Wise brings us that story.
Long deployments aren't just tough on the people overseas, they're hard on the families left at home. Military spouses often have to be mom, dad, the chauffeur, and the handyman. That's why one company decided to create a support network.
This is Our Riveter, a handbag manufacturing company that crafts their materials from upcycled military parachutes, coats, and uniforms. But they have a bigger mission. Co-founders Lisa Bradley and Cameron Cruz say they wanted to serve military spouses who are often left without support once their partners leave home.
Military spouses, they're kind of pulling double and triple duty at sometimes. We always say that. You've got, a lot of times you're the primary caretaker of your kids or the household when your husband or wife is off or deployed or on training missions.
Think about military spouses and what they're doing at home. They're the ones that, although they're not wearing the uniform, they're still serving their country in a unique way.
These two military wives came up with the idea to create a flexible network where men and women could not only provide for their families, but find a sense of community wherever the military takes them.
I think the military spouses are so important to support because they're the ones that are behind our service members that are doing so much, and sometimes they really are unsung heroes. They are at home worrying about their spouse. They do so much for our country that we don't really realize.
It's a growing community that's finding a reason to smile despite the hardship, sacrifices, and challenges they face.
That's all for today. In the meantime, you can find more of our exclusive coverage at cbnnews.com. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.